Am I the a-hole for telling my friend that my sister cheated on her ex and he totally lost interest? My 25 male 23-year-old sister Katie just moved to the same city I live in, which is not our hometown. We get along pretty well, but something that's always kinda annoyed me about her is, since high school she loves to latch onto my social group and has dated a couple of my friends. It always makes things awkward for me and the friendship inevitably changes. So typically, I refrain from introducing her to my friend group. But since she doesn't really know many people in our city, I invited her to a recent outing with my friends for my birthday. I got a buddy out called Dan, who is somewhat recently single. Unfortunately, his ex cheated on him on a girl's trip and the breakup was awful, and he still has some trust issues from it. I know that Katie and her college ex from a couple years ago broke up because she hooked up with another guy when she visited her friend at another school. She knows how I feel about it and says she feels awful and wishes she could take it back. Well, anyway, at the hangout, Dan and Katie were talking quite a bit and Katie gave him her number. He asked me if it was cool if he asked her out or if that would make things too weird. I basically told him I appreciate him asking, but he doesn't need my permission. That said, I told him about her past because I know how he feels about cheating. That was a deal breaker for him. He started to say some not nice stuff, but then stopped when he realized it was my sister, lol. But needless to say, he lost interest then and there. They ran into each other the other day, and while I wasn't there, I heard it was pretty awkward. I guess she playfully teased him about not texting her yet, and he just gave her an awkward answer about being super busy. She asked me about it, telling me how much she thought they hit it off and everything when I was honest with her about what happened. Dan's one of my good friends, and I felt like I had to give him warning. But Katie got mad. She said a lot of things to me about being a horrible brother and not letting her move on from the past and all that. Since then, been having some second thoughts. Obviously can't take it back, but she does kind of have a point that it was a couple years ago, and she should be able to start fresh with new guys without the past coming up. But in the moment, I was just trying to protect my friend from potential heartbreak. I get both sides, I guess. Was I the a-hole here? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. And bro, just tell her to stop trying to hook up with your friends. Are you kidding? Exactly. They're OP's friends, not disposable, not a menu. How many friendships of hers would he have to ruin before she'd stop introducing him to hers? 1? Yes, she would have flipped out after the first girlfriend dumped her as a friend because of her brother's wrongdoings. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. It's not cool for your sister to repeatedly go after your friends. Seriously though, she had no problem finding a random guy to cheat with, so she shouldn't have any problem dating someone who's not her brother's friend. It is not even just one, it's a couple. She most likely doesn't care what happens after they break up because OP has to deal with the aftermath. A conversation needs to be had between them long time ago because she just can't be doing that so casually. I'm not surprised if she does continue to cheat with the way she just keeps dating his friends. She's not the only one at fault though. His friends also choose to date her too, unless OP was fine with it and didn't care. But either way, OP also needs to set boundaries with his friends that his sister is off limits, and tell them her history of dating in his friend group. If they still go after her, then cut them loose. Not the a-hole. People can grow and move on, but it doesn't change the fact that they did it in the first place. If it was a deal breaker when you told him, it was going to be a deal breaker when he inevitably found out. You just saved them both a lot of time. Lol. Agreed. Being able to move on does not mean everyone has to pretend what happened never happened. It means that you accept that some people will not want to date you, or you may have to work a bit harder to earn trust. Keeping important details about your past is a terrible way to earn trust. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister's boyfriend the truth? My 24 female sister, 21 female, is saying I'm the a-hole for telling her now ex-boyfriend what she has really been doing behind his back. Some context, she has been living with me and my family for a couple of months. She and her boyfriend have been together for 8 months, and it's been kinda rocky to say the least. Soon after she moved in with us, she told me that her and her boyfriend were taking a break which lasted about 2 weeks or so, and during that time she had slept with 2 different guys. She never told her boyfriend about it. A couple weeks after they ended the break, I noticed she was talking and playing video games a lot with a guy she met on Snap. He was in another state, so there's no physical contact, but I could tell there was an emotional connection between them. Her boyfriend found out about this and questioned her, but she always told him that they were just gaming buddies. I heard him constantly telling her how beautiful she is and how he would take care of her. Soon, she was telling me that she was going to end things with her boyfriend, but she was going to get this gift from him first. It was a fancy water bottle or something. This is where I may be the a-hole. One day, when I knew she was going to be out of the house, I called her boyfriend and told him everything she had been lying about, and about her wanting to break up with him. He called her immediately after, calling her out on her lies and ended the relationship. Almost instantly, I was getting calls and messages from her and other family members saying I was an a-hole for sticking my nose in their business. I fully believe I did the right thing, and I know if I was in his shoes, I'd want to know too. So am I the a-hole? Edit, to clear some things up, I did speak to her before going behind her back several times. Yet, she continued to treat it like a game. I'm not trying to get back at her or make myself feel better. Instead, I put myself in her ex's shoes, and I know if I was in his position, I'd want to know. Not the a-hole. You saved your boyfriend years of heartache if you were to stay together with that thing. Good on you for telling him. I, for one, would want someone to tell me, especially if it's coming from her sister/family member. Ignore the people calling you jealous and asking why you would do something like that. They're all cheater sympathizers. The ones who are jealous are just cheaters. LMAO. Agreed. Not the a-hole. You did the right thing by telling him. He would have been more hurt to know you were aware and chose to not tell him because she's your sister. I am speaking from experience. In the last few months of my relationship with my ex, he was cheating on me with another girl. At that time, they were in different countries, so nothing physical happened. But they were already in a relationship and planning their future, like things they want to do when they meet, meeting each other's families, etc. That spineless coward did not even have the decency to end it with me first, after being in a relationship with me for 6 years. He was waiting for me to end it, as our relationship was already very rocky at that time due to family issues. We were from different religions. Our families were not on board, and his family wanted me to convert to their religion, which I was completely against. After we broke up, we agreed to be roommates for a little while till one of us could find a separate place. We were new in the city and did not know anyone else yet. I found out about his new relationship by accident. One day, 2 months after we broke up, I walked into his room to ask him something that he didn't hear me calling from the outside. He was on a video chat with his girl. I immediately felt uncomfortable and left. Then he disclosed that he's seeing someone new. Not gonna lie, I was hurt, but put up a brave face at that moment. But one detail he shared made me start to question things. He mentioned they're planning to visit each other's families when they meet. Knowing him, he would never do that unless he was very sure about someone. Some poking and prodding later, he divulged he had been talking to her even before we broke up. He didn't clarify, but I was able to conclude this continued for at least 6 months while we were still together. My heart was shattered, even more so when I found out all his close friends knew and no one bothered to tell me. When I questioned them, their excuse was, well, you know how he's so private about everything in his life and does not want anyone to talk about his personal life. I used to consider them my friends as well, but not anymore. We are still in touch, wish each other's on birthdays, etc., but I keep them at an arm's length. I felt betrayed from all fronts, and it took me a very long time to get over that. So, I would have greatly appreciated it if one of his friends had told me about this, so I didn't waste months of time with him. Next story. Would I be the a-hole if I told my younger sister's fiancé that she lied about my older sister when they met? My older sister Kay, female 32, my younger sister Jay, female 28, my younger sister's fiancé Matt, male 32. Kay and Matt met at work about 2.5 to 3 years ago. He was hired in as a consultant at her company on a few months assignment. They became close, but nothing happened because they probably didn't think it was professional. I think both, or I know that my sister at least, was hoping that it would develop to something more when his assignment was completed. Kay is a very shy and private person, but even with that, she couldn't stop talking about Matt to Jay and me. When she turned 30, we encouraged her to invite him too, with the rest of her close friends from work. She was very hesitant and panicked at first, but then she thought, yeah, why not? His assignment was almost done anyway. Matt and Jay met at that party. 6 months later, Jay told us that she and Matt are a couple. This devastated Kay, and I knew that, even if she held herself together and pretended to be happy for them. I almost made her confess her heartbreak to me because I couldn't just let her hurt alone without any support. She said that she's angry or disappointed, that after her birthday, he changes towards her and was even a bit angry. Then when he left, he stopped talking to her. Kay said that she probably misinterpreted his interest in her. I know that she's still heartbroken about it. Matt was assigned with her company some more times again, and it was awkward at first, but eventually they were friends again. Now he is a part of the family. Kay never showed that she's hurt. Now I've found out that Jay told Matt that Kay had a boyfriend at that birthday party. Matt is very handsome and lovely, and Jay basically wanted him. Matt was shocked at first because he was hoping for something more, but he probably just thought that he too misinterpreted Kay's interest in him. He is very shy too. After the party, he probably decided to cut his losses and not pursue Kay. Jay, however, kept contacting him, asking him out, be supportive. First, he refused, but then they started dating. How do I know all that? Jay's roommate spilled the beans to me, thinking I knew everything, as I'm closer to Jay than Kay. Matt has now proposed to Jay. I feel sick because I want to tell Matt what happened so he makes an informed decision. Marriage is not a game. At the same time, he and Jay seem to be perfect for each other and the love is genuine. Maybe he was interested in Kay, yes, but obviously it wasn't that deep. Also Kay, I want to tell her, but she seems okay with the relationship too. She made it clear that Matt and Jay obviously meant to be or it wouldn't have happened. But I want to tell. Would I be the a-hole if I told everyone what happened? Now for the top comments. Wow, sister is something. She certainly didn't consider anyone else when she made her decisions back then. I would probably say something so he can make an informed decision, but be prepared for the backlash. The thing is, Jay and Matt are great together. He and Kay are so much alike, yes, both shy and introverted and very calm. But Jay's a social butterfly, and he has even said that she has taken him out of his shell, so I don't know. My only thought is, I would have wanted to know. But if I tell, I'm ready for the backlash. You should tell. Jay stole Matt's choice from him. Everything they have built is based on a lie. She didn't just tell that lie once. She told it repeatedly. She faked sympathy and comfort him. She manufactured the entire origins of their relationship. If Jay has deceived him in this way, I guarantee she has deceived him in others. Her behavior was foul and selfish. She didn't care who she hurt as long as she got what she wanted. How many other times has she hurt him to get what she wants? If their Matt and Jay's love is real, they will get over it. If it's not, and I don't see how it can be when it's built on sand, please let this man have the opportunity to escape before Jay tricks him into marriage. There's zero chance that Matt and Kay would be together, and that is not the point either. I want my big sister's heart to heal and Matt to make an informed decision. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling coworker her kid is why I wouldn't date her? Disclaimer. This isn't one of those anti-dating single moms posts. I'm a single dad and have dated other single parents in the past. I have a coworker, let's call Pam, who I've worked with a couple years now, and she's a lovely woman. She's very pretty, good at her job, and I value her as both a coworker and a friend. She got divorced about a year ago and has started getting back into dating in the last few months. Nothing serious though. I'm widowed and have a 7-year-old. I'm definitely not opposed to dating another single parent, as I have before. Problem is, her kid is honestly unbearable to me. It's hard to say how much is his fault as he does have ODD, and I suspect some other things as well. He's 13 years old but regularly throws tantrums you'd expect of a much younger child. He's been suspended from school multiple times, and she has had to have him come into work with her to keep an eye on him, and he always gets into trouble here as well. As far as non-predators go, he's the worst kid I've ever been around. About a month ago, we were at a work function lately and dating came up and she asked me if I was seeing anybody. I told her no, and she brought up us going out as we get along so well. I gave her the whole "we work together and I don't crap where I eat" thing, and she let it go, but mentioned how a lot of our coworkers met at work and it worked out for them. For what it's worth, we were in different departments, so we work on different floors. So while I see her at work a decent amount, it's not really a working together and seeing each other everyday thing. The last week, the weather has been beautiful, and yesterday management let us all off an hour early to enjoy the weather, and a lot of us went to the place next door. She brought us up again and again. I gave her the same thing. She then pushed and said she doesn't believe me. She asked if I don't like to date other parents, and I told her no, it's not that. She kept pushing, and I was honest that her kid is just too much. Not that I don't think I could handle a tough kid, but I just have no desire to put up with that for a kid who's not mine. From what little I know about ODD, it doesn't seem like a phase, and I'm not signing me and my kid up to deal with that long term. Let's just say she did not take it well and snapped at me about talking about her kid and left shortly after. Today I'm working from home, but feeling a little guilty about it all. Was I an a-hole who should apologize or just let it go? Frankly, her aggressive investigation of why you wouldn't date her was inappropriate in the first place. No one is entitled to an explanation as to why you don't want to date them. You could have refused, but she was so pushy. I don't think she would have accepted it. She's going to think less of you though. It's probably not either her fault nor her son's fault that he's like this. Yeah, I don't blame her for her son. I think it's a brain chemistry thing. It's just not something I would sign myself or my kid up to deal with. Please shoot HR an email about the interaction just to be safe. Yeah, our HR director and president of the company are two of my childhood best friends, so I'm not worried. But I shot the HR guy a note just in case. He's documenting it, but won't bring it up unless she does. She's a good employee overall, and we know she's been through a lot in the last years, so we're not trying to get her in trouble, but we are documenting to cover ourselves in case. That's nice of you to consider. Hopefully she'll let it go. I'm sure in some level she knows it's about her kid. It's hard enough dating with the kids involved, and having extreme circumstances makes it even more challenging. The fact that you're already a parent means that it's important for you to consider your child's well-being and safety in introducing potential permanent people in their life. Please always keep that priority. Her hurt feelings are not your fault, and it might be the reality that she needed to hear out loud from someone. She has a few more years before he's an adult. She can still have a relationship, but should leave her kid out of it, assuming she has a co-parenting partner. It sounds like her child is going to have problems in adulthood. Anyone that dates her has to know about her child.